Hello everyone, welcome to Something's Cooking with Alpa, and today we are going to make melt in your mouth type of malai koftas. If you follow the recipe step by step, I can guarantee you that they will turn out even better than what you get in the restaurant. So without any delay, let's begin with our process. और हम ये रेसिपी शुरू करें उसके पहले मैं आपको अपने दूसरे चैनल के बारे में बताना चाहती हूँ। आप सबके डिमांड पे मैंने वो दूसरा चैनल शुरू किया है जिसका नाम है एट होम विद अल्पा इन हिंदी। ऊपर जो लिंक दिख रहा है बस उसे क्लिक कर दीजिए और हो जाइए सब्सक्राइब मेरे उस दूसरे चैनल को भी। और चलिए अब हम शुरू करते हैं ये रेसिपी को। So guys, to make the malai koftas, first let's start making the koftas, for which I have taken 2 medium sized boiled potatoes. Now guys, this is a very important step, so do listen to it carefully. Make sure that you boil these potatoes 4-5 hours beforehand and then keep it in the refrigerator so as the moisture of the potatoes evaporates. I had boiled the potatoes the previous night and I kept them overnight in the fridge. And now I simply peeled off the skin of the potatoes and now I'm grating it. And once we are done with grating the potatoes, then let's add about 200 grams of grated paneer, which is cottage cheese, followed by 2 to 3 spicy green chilies which I have sliced. Then we are going to add 1 tablespoon of fresh dhania, which is coriander leaves, followed by half teaspoon of ginger paste, which is adrak ki paste. Guys, do add this, it really makes a difference. And 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chilli powder, followed by half teaspoon of garam masala. Now this is my homemade garam masala, I'll give the link in the description box. Followed by salt to taste. And then we are going to add about 4 to 5 teaspoon of corn flour. Guys, adding the corn flour will make the binding much easier. And now let's, with a very gentle hand, we are going to knead it into a soft dough. And while kneading the dough, guys, if you feel that it's quite moist, then do add about 1 or 2 teaspoons of corn flour to it depending on how much you need it. And now that our dough is ready, then we are simply going to take a little bit of maida, which is all purpose flour, in a different bowl, followed by few pieces of cashew. Here I've taken about 4 to 5 cashew and then I've broken it down into smaller pieces. And now guys, let's take a little bit of this all-purpose flour and rub it onto our hands so that the dough doesn't stick to our hands when we are making the round balls. So first let's take a small amount of this dough into our hands and then make it as smooth as possible into a round shape. Then we are going to press it down and make it flat. Once we have made it flat, then we are going to take 2 to 3 pieces of these cashews and place it in the center. And then we are going to take the edges of this round disc and fold it and make it round. And then guys, by using our both the palms, we are going to make it as smooth as possible. Guys, make sure not to apply too much pressure while doing this. Very gently, very carefully, we are going to make this round balls. And once we have made this ball, then we are going to put this round ball into the bowl in which we have the all-purpose flour and coat it with the all-purpose flour. And guys, here is one more way of coating the kofta balls with the all-purpose flour. I just put the ball into the bowl in which we have the all-purpose flour and I'm just going to move the bowl in circular motion. And see guys, our kofta is nicely coated with the all-purpose flour. And now I had already kept some oil for heating, which is at high flame. So make sure that when you're putting the koftas in, that the flame is on high. And then guys, after about 30 seconds or so, we are going to turn the flame on medium. And we are going to let the koftas cook till the time they are golden brown in color from all sides. Now guys, I know it's a daunting task because we cannot stir the koftas, otherwise they will break. So as I am doing, using a slotted spoon, I am putting the oil on top of the koftas as well. So make sure that you do that as well. Also guys, I'm going to show you a second method. Use this method only if you are accustomed to cooking. If you are new in the kitchen, please do not use this method. So basically I'm just going to take a pair of tongs and then I'm going to shake this entire kadhai going in circular motion. Guys, this is very scary, I can say, because if you are new to cooking and if you spill the oil, you can get burnt. So don't take any risk. Only if you know cooking and if you have been doing this, then only try this method. But this method is very effective. As you can see, all our koftas are nice and golden brown in color, and now it's time for us to remove them. And do place the koftas on a plate covered with a paper towel so that it sucks all that excess oil. And see guys, we got about 12 koftas out of that dough, and now it's time for us to start working on our gravy. So guys, in a large kadai, let's add 1 tablespoon of oil followed by 1 tablespoon of butter. Here I'm using Amul butter. And once the butter melts and the oil is heated up, then let's add 1 bay leaf, which is tej patta, followed by 1 inch of cinnamon stick, which is dalchini, 2 cardamoms, which is ilaichi, followed by 2 cloves, which is long, and 5 to 6 black pepper, which is kali mirch, and let's cook it for about 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, let's add about 1 teaspoon of jeera, which is cumin seeds, and once they start to splutter, then let's add 1.5 roughly chopped large onion along with 7 to 8 garlic cloves, which is lasun, and half inch of ginger, which is adrak. And now we are going to give everything a good mix and cook till the time the onions look a little translucent. Guys, make sure and remember that we don't need to cook it till they become brown, just a little translucent. And once they are translucent, then it's time for us to add 2 roughly chopped large tomatoes, followed by 10 to 12 cashews, along with some salt as per taste. Adding the salt will faster the cooking process of the tomatoes. And guys, now we are going to let it cook for the next 4 to 5 minutes or until the time the tomatoes are fully cooked. To make the process a little faster, I'm going to cover it up and cook it. Also guys, remember to stir the tomatoes in intervals. And after about 5 minutes, let's uncover and let's have a look at our onions and tomatoes. Wow, everything is nicely cooked in. So now let's give it a stir. And now we are just simply going to wait till the time they come down to room temperature. Once they come down to room temperature, then we are going to add everything in a blender and make it into a smooth puree. So guys, after blending the onions and tomatoes, I also added 1.5 cup of water and I blended it one more time. And now that our puree is ready, let's strain it using a sieve so that it separates all the threads of the tomatoes and the dry masalas, and we are left with a very smooth puree. And now guys, in a large kadai, let's add 1 tablespoon of oil with 1 tablespoon of butter. Again, I'm using Amul butter. And once the oil is hot and the butter is melted, let's add 1.5 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chilli powder. And then give it a good mix, and immediately let's add our puree. If you delay in adding the puree to this oil, then the red chili is going to get burned and the color won't be as pleasant and bright. Now let's give everything a good mix, and once everything is nicely mixed in, then let's add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, which is haldi powder, followed by 2 teaspoon of coriander cumin powder, which is dhania jeera powder. And now we are going to give everything a good mix and we are going to cook it for the next 2 minutes. Guys, to make the process faster, I'm going to cover it up. 2 to 3 minutes later, let's add 1 teaspoon of sugar. That's right, sugar. Sugar is going to give a really delicious taste to this dish. Followed by half teaspoon of kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves. Put it in between your palms and give it a rub and crush it so as to release the maximum flavor. followed by 1/4 cup of fresh cream. Now, nobody said that this is going to be a healthy recipe. It is calorie content recipe and it's absolutely worth having it once in a while. And 2 tablespoons of dhania, which is fresh coriander leaves. And let's mix everything and cook it for again 2 to 3 more minutes. Make sure to cover it up. 2 to 3 minutes later, our gravy is ready. It's looking absolutely delicious. My mouth is watering, and I've already kept our koftas in a plate. So guys, make sure that you never put the koftas in the gravy. It is the other way around. Otherwise, the koftas will break. So in a plate, I've already kept the koftas, and now let's pour our gravy on top of it. Let's also sprinkle some fresh coriander leaves and a little bit of fresh cream. And guys, my mouth is watering. I absolutely cannot wait to try this with some garlic naan, for which, by the way, I've already have a recipe on my channel. I'll give the link in the description box, so do check that out as well. And do share this recipe with your friends and family, because I'm telling you, take my word for it, it turns out even better than what you will get in restaurants. Do let me know what you think about this recipe in the comment section, and I will see you very soon. Meanwhile, you take care. Bye bye.